So you started the Cosmere with the Way of Kings. What do you do now? You don't want to ruin your reading order, so here is the solution. What I would suggest if you're on the Way of Kings, or you started the Way of Kings, or you're reading Words of Radiance, which is Stormlight Archive Book 2, I'd recommend going to Warbreaker straight after. In my opinion, there are barely any links in Words of Radiance anyway. It is just the one where the link first comes up, if that makes sense. But Oathbringer actually has quite a lot of links between the Stormlight Archive and Warbreaker, so I definitely recommend reading it before Oathbringer. And in terms of other books such as Mistborn, such as Elantris, that are in the Cosmere, Brandon Sanderson has written these completely separately where they tie in later on, so you can just finish the Stormlight Archive for the most part and then go on to stuff like Elantris or Mistborn. So if you started with The Way of Kings is the only book you've read, what I would do is read The Way of Kings, Warbreaker, Words of Radiance, Oathbringer, Rhythm of War, then go to Mistborn Era 1, then go to Mistborn Era 2, read Elantris and the Secret Projects whilst you're in there at some point, and then maybe read Wind and Truth, and then finally The Sunlit Man. And on top of that, make sure you read all the short stories in the Arcanum Unbounded. The reason I made this video is because so many of you have said that you started with The Way of Kings and the Stormlight Archive. There's no wrong place to start in the Cosmere. It's wherever you feel like starting. In fact, the only place you can start that's wrong is Mistborn Era 2, and that reason is because it's Era 2, you need to read Era 1 beforehand, you know what I mean? So in conclusion, if you start with The Way of Kings, go to Warbreaker after. If you're already on Words of Radiance, go to Warbreaker after. If you're already an Oathbringer, go to Warbreaker after. You get the idea. If you guys do have any more questions about Cosmere or Brandon Sanderson reading order, please do leave them in the comments. Make sure to like. This was a quick video. Make sure to follow, and happy goddamn reading.